Welcome back to my animal education series. Today I'm here with Katie at Zoo America. Hello.
Hi.
What do we have here?
We have a female blue spiny lizard, and as you can see, she has some blue coloration on her, but not so much on her belly, some on her sides. If she were a male, she would actually have brilliant metallic blue on her belly in strips and along the sides, and they use that color to attract some females. And if you look at her, you can actually see, besides the blue coloration, she's a fairly good-sized lizard. The blue spiny lizard is the largest of the spiny lizard family. They get up to 14 inches long.
That's pretty big.
Yeah, and then they also have this long tail, and you can see her tail's a little stubby, and that's because she lost a little part of it, and that part is able to regrow, but normally the tip does not regrow as well. But even though they can lose part of their tail, if a predator grabs onto it, they don't want to lose it because it's kind of like their little lunchbox. So when it gets to be cold and they can't find food, she needs that fat store to keep herself full and good for the winter.
So it's kind of like a leopard gecko. They gain nutrients and stuff in their tails in case they can't find food.
Exactly.
It's kind of the same thing here, just not as big.
Yes, absolutely.
What kind of food will these lizards eat in the wild?
In the wild, they can eat any kind of insect, and they also eat a lot of flying insects, so they're a little more acrobatic. And here at the zoo, we feed them crickets, mealworms, waxworms, and earthworms sometimes.
Where do you usually find these blue spiny lizards?
You can find them in the desert, anywhere from Texas to Arizona, and they like to live in hot, arid climates. They don't eat a lot of water as well.
What adaptations do they have for living in that certain environment?
They have very efficient kidneys, and they have basically just these thick scales. They also blow salt out of their nose to just make themselves much more efficient without water.
How does the coloration help them camouflage? Because that's kind of the males being used attract the mate. Like, how else does that really help them?
Well, even though they have the blue scales, they still really blend in well to the different branches, and they'll also go into crevices among plants, and sometimes you're looking right at them and you can't even see them. So the coloration, the scales, helps to just keep them camouflaged in almost any background.
What kind of predators would want to go after a lizard like this?
A lot of stuff. We'll eat a spiny lizard. A roadrunner is one. All different kinds of hawks, falcons. A lot will eat a spiny lizard. Even snakes. A king snake would also eat one.
What is your favorite thing about this kind of lizard?
They have very interesting reproduction. The female is considered to be ovoviviparous, which is a really big word for meaning that her eggs that are actually inside of her will hatch before she gives birth. And then they will come out live birth. And we've been lucky enough to observe that here at the zoo. So we've had many spiny lizards give birth here, and they come out in a little tiny ball and then roll out and start running right away. So they're amazing little lizards, and this small spiny lizard could have anywhere from 8 to 16 babies inside of her. So we've seen as many as 12 from one of our females in the past. And this one right here also was live birth here at the zoo.
How would that help them out in the wild?
Well, it helps them to get away from predators right away. They don't have to worry about the eggs being eaten by anything. And although the baby lizards are easy prey as well, but that's another reason they have so many, so that hopefully out of those 12, maybe a few will survive.
You said they started running as soon as they came out of those little balls. That's why they just get away from where they all are, one concentrated location for predators.
They all disperse right away.
So it's a pretty cool adaptation that they have.
Definitely.
You said that you've had a lot of live births here, so what do you do with all those baby spiny lizards?
With all the babies that we have, some of them go into our education department, some of them go to other zoos, and some don't always make it because there's such a large amount that are born, live births, so it's normally guaranteed they won't all make it, unfortunately. So the parents to this one they probably had at least 30 or 40 babies over the past 10 to 15 years. So, and they're fairly long-lived. They can live into their early teens. So they've done well here. They've actually stopped reproducing here at the zoo. They went through a few too many generations and she got too old. And now we have maybe, I think, 5 left here at the zoo. 2 are on exhibit, and then we have 3 in our education department.
How old is this lizard?
This lizard is 6 years old.
why does this lizard like make such a perfect education animal?
They do fairly well, but only because they're used to being handled. So if we don't handle them a lot, they normally get upset and she'd be trying to squirm away from me. So the more we handle them, the calmer they get and the better they do with people. So as you can see, she doesn't mind being held very much.
That'd be a little bit of a bad thing if she didn't like being held, because we are outside and you might not find her again.
Yes, we have a lot of faith in our handling abilities, usually. So we haven't had any problems like that, but she does very well. Some blue spinies that we have on exhibit, we would not be doing this with them.
So you kind of like separate some lizards for like, these are going to be used for education and these are going to go on display.
Exactly, yeah. All of our animals on exhibit are just on exhibit. They don't go out to programs and they're not worked with in the same way. So all the animals in our education department actually are handled regularly and trained to be very calm and good with people. So it works out in our favor in both aspects.
Is this species of lizard endangered or not so much?
No, it is not. Luckily for the blue spiny, they are doing very well. They have a lot of predators, but with the amount of babies they have and the fact that they still have a good amount of habitat, they're doing just fine.
Well, that's always good.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for telling us about these blue spiny lizards.
Sure, thank you.
And if you guys enjoyed this week's episode, don't forget to leave a big thumbs up down below, subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to check out my Instagram @kosherk. And as always, I'll see you next week.